Hello and welcome back to Gamers Remorse. Today we're taking a look at another killer Gamers Remorse challenge, Emperors and Gladiators by some game company. Tank Tot Games. You can find this game on the Game Crafter currently. Let's check it out, shall we? Emperors and Gladiators is a dice-rolling, action-selection, character-building game for 2 to 5 players and takes about 45 minutes to play. In Emperors and Gladiators, all players are a gladiator, fighting for the joy of the Roman Emperor. Your goal is to be the last player standing through attacking your fellow gladiators, reducing their stamina to 0. When this happens, the players are knocked to the ground temporarily and take several rounds for them to get back up on their feet. I don't want to get into the details of setup as it is quite involved, but I can tell you it looks like our setup is here. Each player has a gladiator, 2 dice, a crowd favor card, a stamina card, a stance card, a strike card, a focus card, a unique set of maneuvers, and a shared pool of power moves. Also, each player has action selection cubes of their color, determined by their strength on their gladiator card. The focus phase now begins. To begin, each player rolls their 2 combat dice. 1 die is placed on your focus card on the defense icon, and the attack die on your strike card. Players select a single focus action to include: switch your stance, increase crowd favor, restore a used power token, draw 2 maneuver cards, or re-roll your combat dice. The maneuver phase now begins. Each player performs a single maneuver. Maneuver options include select a stance, a power move from the middle of the table, a unique maneuver card from your hand of cards, use your signature move from your gladiator cards, a crowd roar to add a point to your crowd favor and stand back up, or a move to strike. Options repeat until a player moves to strike. This signals the last round of choices. The strike phase now begins. The player with the highest maneuver die on the strike card attacks the player with the lowest defense die. If the defense die is equal or higher than the maneuver die, no attack is performed. Otherwise, the player with the lowest defense die loses stamina equal to the force of the strike, usually a 1 unless a maneuver card modified it. Then you perform a fatigue check. If you have below 0 stamina, you have fallen. And then finally, a victory check. If there's only 1 player standing, they win the game. All right, so we are looking at Emperors and Gladiators here on Gamers Remorse. First thing we like to do is check out the look and feel of the game, or the overall quality of the looks of it. I'll go ahead and start. I like to say overall I really like the look of it. The artwork was really nice. There was some discrepancy between some of the power move cards. They seemed more of like an old-timey thing. But the gladiator cards were really cool. Yeah. I would love it if they redid the entire artwork based on that. Just the shiny helmets, the dudes fighting. It's really cool. And the overall layout was pretty nice as well. I mean, it seemed to take a couple of cues from Magic or Dominion or some of the more popular games out there. But overall, I like the look of it, and it made a lot of sense. Particularly with the, I think I called it the dashboard before, of all the different cards laid out for the gladiator. You have all of his stats, all the moves he can do. Really loved that. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. One of the things I really liked, of course, was the art per gladiator. And there is an ability eventually that comes into play called the adrenaline. And you flip your card over, and it kind of zooms in, and you kind of get that, like, I just really like that effect. Is it the same artwork, closer view of it, more of the details? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, these guys said it. The artwork was really good. I really enjoyed that. Definitely something I could see, even in kind of like a graphic novel type thing. So, really enjoyed it.
Balance and mechanics. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, it was one of the games where, you are all drawing from the same maneuver deck, and then there is variable player powers. So the balance of the maneuvers are there, because it's all random based on your draws. So then the only balance that really comes into play comes down to dice rolling and variable player powers, which each of the characters we tried had various aspects. I was never able to use my power because the dice just did not permit it. One of the guys Eric was using had a really powerful power that was easy enough to manipulate that it almost always came into effect. And I don't think yours ever came into effect either.
No, it did a couple of times.
Yeah. Okay, that's probably after I got eliminated.
So bitter.
Just a little bit. So I thought it was decently balanced in that regard. But I mean, some cards do seem a bit more powerful than others. But that once you get to know all the gladiators, that can be taken into account in character selection. But what are your thoughts? You got a bit more play than I did, realistically.
Eric, why don't you take this one?
I thought it was interesting too, because like the higher numbers you rolled, the better you would the better off you would be. So, but the thing is, the higher you rolled doesn't mean that you're going first. So like, by the time it gets your turn, the dice that you have rolled might not be the same. So.
It might get stolen or manipulated. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was a very interesting thing. So I really enjoyed the mechanics of it. I mean, I think there was still on the same time at the same time, like the randomness of dice rolling didn't come too much into play because you could alter either yours or others. So.
To a degree, I would agree.
Yes.
So he rolled double sixes once, and I rolled a 1 and a 3. So the first thing he does after I manipulate one thing is he goes, oh, strike. So I have to close the gap between a 3 and a 6 in the course of 0 turns. It was impossible. So there was a lot of reliance on the dice roll, but to your point, there's enough card play and different things you can do where it actually did help out quite a bit. I definitely applaud this game for all of the mechanics that they put in here. I would say of the Killer Game Challenge, this is probably the most mechanically packed of all of the games.
Very ambitious.
So that was awesome. We'll get into some of the downsides right about now. Brian, tell me about pacing.
The game initially it paced really well as we were going. And then you hit, I mean, the goal of the challenge, of course, was take our least favorite mechanic, player elimination, and make a game that is enjoyable. Once I was eliminated, there's multiple rounds. The only round I partook in was maneuvers, and all I do is roll and hope to roll doubles. So I have a 1 in 36 chance of moving up in the crowd favorite track, which I have to do 3 times. And fortunately, I was already at 1, so I had statistically 72 rolls to get there.
Right.
The chance that you will live long enough is very unlikely, and I didn't roll a single double. So my entire turn, rolling a die once, sometimes twice. Very slow and not involved at that point.
Right. I will say for those still engaged, there was a whole lot going on. You know, I'm
Yeah.
paying attention to all these different things. But poor Brian over here, he's like, is it my turn to roll
It's
yet?
like, are you guys maneuvers yet? Yeah? No? All right.
Oh. So it was a little sad for him. I don't feel that bad about it, but if it were me, I would feel bad about it. So I think we can move past pacing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Theme. What do you think, Eric?
I definitely got the whole gladiator feel out of it. I think the theme fit really well. You know, like he had Brian being the first gladiator out, who probably brought the net to a sword fight. So, I think it went really went well with the mechanics and the artwork. So, I thought it fit.
Yeah. I agree. I think this is a theme that Eric probably actually knows more than the rest of us about.
He was a gladiator. Is that?
Yeah, he was a gladiator.
American
for quite a while.
Gladiators.
Yeah,
My
but-
name used to be Nitro.
Yeah, but I mean, I just liked trying to earn crowd favor and yell, "Are you not entertained?" That was my thing.
And while he was doing that, I slit his throat.
Yep.
There you go. I would agree. This game had a lot of theme nestled throughout it. You know, each of the cards you're pulling had that. Each of the power moves, you know, that maybe we learned or trained in before the actual fight. Of course, the crowd factor, the stance. There was so much going on. The theme was baked in.
Yeah.
Awesome on that. Was it easy to learn? I can take this one since I read the rule book. I would say it was actually somewhat complicated because there was so much going on. The more mechanics you throw into a game, the more difficult it's going to be. And there was enough like little onesie-twosie type rules where it was like, wait, when this happens, what happens? I've never experienced this rule before. What happens during a tie? What's this critical move? Because only some of the gladiators have that special ability.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of fiddliness with that, but it wasn't so bad. I don't know how you would correct that with all the mechanics that were going on.
Because like once you knew particulars, you could just move on, and anytime it happened, you knew exactly what to do anyway.
Yep. All right, replayability. I can talk, and then I'm curious what Brian and Eric think. Replayability, I would say this is a tough one, right? Because of the player elimination piece of it, which arguably that was our contest, right? So you had to have it in there. But maybe if it were more fun for the person that was waiting. Yeah, they weren't entirely eliminated, so you tried to keep them interested and keep that fun in it. But it wasn't fun for them, you know, even though they were in it. It was like, I don't know, let's go back to the Gladiator type thought process. Well, I'm going to drag him behind a chariot so that way he's still involved, but it's like, no, that's not fun.
Yeah.
So that's my thoughts. What do you think as the guy being drugged behind the chariot?
Yeah, having been drugged behind the chariot for a few laps around the arena, I do kind of want, you know, there's a replayability aspect of I want to not die. I want to experience what they're experiencing. But at the same time, like the longer you're eliminated in a game, the less you want to come back to it. So in general, you want the elimination to be short-lived. You know, trying to find a way outside of a very slim chance to come back, or maybe you only need troll doubles once to come back, instead of 3 times potentially. So,
Yep.
but any other thoughts?
The one thought I kind of had was the player eliminated, instead of having to roll to come back, is essentially taking the role of the quote-unquote emperor to kind of involve. And, you know, as an emperor watching in the Colosseum, they would have a particular favorite gladiator that they would bestow their graces upon. So maybe that would become like, taking the theme even further and being like, okay, I want him to win. So every turn he gets an extra action bestowed, and you choose as the emperor who gets that extra action or whatever. So other benefits.
Yep. All right. So overall, this has been Emperors and Gladiators on Gamers Remorse. Stay tuned for the rest of the Gamers Remorse Killer Challenge.
I am Spartacus.
Booyah. Thank you.
Booyakasha.
All right, we'll go back to this, and then we at least kind of know. Those are not the scores for this game.
Yeah.
These are not the scores you're looking for. Hello, and welcome back to Gamer...
When do you want me to start the timer?
Probably now?